time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits, whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts. This is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. Although I am recording on Monday, June 13th, I am currently watching one of the final super regional baseball games between Stanford and the University of Connecticut in their third game of their super regional. Later tonight is Oregon State hosting Auburn. Again, a winner-take-all game. Each of these games, by the time you guys hear this, you will know who the 7th and 8th teams are, respectively, for the College World Series, which does start this Friday. And, one of my favorite sporting events, I think very, very underrated, much like the entire college baseball postseason has been. So if you see me looking away on YouTube, it is kind of because I'm watching what's going on here as Connecticut has really put up a fight against Stanford. Both teams can really put up some runs in a hurry, and it's been an incredible weekend of super regional baseball. 6 teams so far have punched their ticket to Omaha, and 2 more remaining, with the only 2 possible West Coast teams getting there with the game 3s today here on Monday. But happy new week to everyone out there. I come on here and I vent a lot of times about bad things that happen and how I wish things could be different. But sometimes, every now and then, there's some good news. There's some cool things that happen. And one of those, to stick with the baseball topic here, one of those things occurred over the weekend. I kind of mentioned to you guys previously about my frustration with the baseball team, the number 1 team in the nation, the Tennessee Volunteers, who have really kind of become college baseball's villain. And I posted something last week, may have been after I recorded the podcast, but it was about the University of Tennessee being college baseball's villain, and showed a picture of them flipping off, as he's rounding second, flipping off one of the outfielders. And oh boy, Stanford just tied it here in the 4th. Maybe took the lead. Yep, took the lead by 1. Okay. So wouldn't you know it, I got into a little dispute on Facebook, as happens here and there. No, nothing big, all in good fun, of course. But the big takeaway was, how the Tennessee Volunteers have acted all year. And, I've kept my eye closely on them and their antics. And, we're in this new age of baseball. You got to celebrate you got to let the kids play. The game is changing. And a lot of it at college baseball, it's kind of that middle ground, that mid step between high school and young kids playing versus, professionals playing, obviously. So there's like this gray area of how you should kind of carry yourself. I think a lot of people tune in to college baseball because it's exciting, and there's maybe there's a lot of dugout activity and things. But I do think it has gotten carried away. I mean, anytime a guy hits I saw a guy they're down by 4 runs, he hits a single and he starts thumping his chest to the dugout and saying, let's go. And it's just like, dude, time and a place. The other night, Stanford hit like 3-4 home runs in the 9th inning, trying to come back, and they celebrated, but they didn't overdo it because they were, trying to shock the Connecticut Huskies there in a massive comeback. But my point of all this is, I've said it before, bat flips is a big thing. You gotta flip your bat and show everyone how great you are when you hit a home run. And I've said before about baseball, like it's very different. It polices itself. It's supposed to be like a gentleman's sport kind of a thing. There's a reason it has been played how it has before. And it's kind of like the ego really of guys that want to come around and be like, we're changing it. We know more than everyone who played before us how to play this great game. We know how to show up people and talk smack and flip bats. And, some people would say, well, that's not, why should you be so sensitive? If a guy in football makes a great play, he does something great. And look, I've tried to explain this to you. Baseball is just different. I think a lot of it has to do with there's so many games during the course of the season that it's like a mutual respect thing. Sometimes you're going to blow us out. Sometimes we're going to blow you out. And the way you carry yourself does matter in baseball. And in college baseball, they're not professional. So a lot of the game is played differently and with a lot of emotion. And that's a big reason a lot of people tune in. But you can overdo it. You can sometimes not be able to restrain all these emotions because you know what? You just be crazy, be emotional all the time, right? Energy all the time. I don't think that's a safe or not safe's the wrong word. That's not probably a strong way to go about things. You guys know you can't always act one way at work, 100%, 100, when you're parenting or whatever you're doing. There's times to be pretty amped up, but there's times to keep it steady, right? Flatline, not flatline. It means, you're gone, but like to just be a steady heartbeat, not be thumping, a million miles an hour. So anyway, my long-winded rant here is I didn't like the University of Tennessee. They're the number one team in the country. They had nine losses on the whole year, roughly play about a 60 plus game season in college. But, Friday night, they're playing Notre Dame in 3-game super regional, right? Some of you guys saw this. Some of you couldn't care less, but I bring it up because I saw it happen. I got it super emotional. I got super mad. Then I just started laughing. And anyway, long-winded story is it's amazing to me how some people, not just how they carry themselves, how they act, I should say, but then how they react when you react based off of their actions. So I'll even try to pull up the play here if I can. But the University of Tennessee, probably one of their best hitters, he takes a pitch that he doesn't like, called for a strike. He turns to the plate umpire and I'm not going to say it, but I'll just say, he looks right at him and he says it pretty loud. And he just says, effing terrible, horrible, effing horrible or something like that. Clear profanity directed right at the umpire. And the plate umpire just calmly ejects the guy. After the pitch is called, the entire dugout is screaming, losing their mind. 2 coaches come running out of the dugout going, what? Who got ejected? What? Base umpire comes down. He ejects the pitching coach who's out of control. The assistant coach shouldn't be out there. He's dropping F-bombs left and right. And the broadcasters immediately say, I don't like that at all. That's too aggressive. And I thought for a second he might be talking about the hitter, but now he starts talking about the umpire. And I really do respect Kyle Peterson. I love his analysis of baseball, but he was dead wrong there. Now I'll give him credit. After he read the lips of the hitter, he backtracked and said, yeah, you can't address an umpire that way. But his initial thought, which a lot of people is umpires, they just react. They're so thin-skinned. How could they, not having any idea? I don't know what was said, but you can't do that. It's like, how could you have an opinion of something that you don't before you know what was said? And it was hilarious. They zoom in and the guy just, you could just read exactly what he said. And it was just like, you're an idiot. And then my favorite part was, again, not how he acted. That just always surprises me. But then what really shocked me was his shock. The hitter, I'm going to pull this clip up. I want to show you guys on YouTube. The hitter then goes, what? You threw me out? What? And just started in this like 4th grader, 3rd grade. I don't even know. Like this, just like, I didn't do anything. How could you? The look on his face is priceless. And I'm saying this because this sums up where we're at in society now. Not only is bad behavior like encouraged, but then when someone does call you out, or maybe the police do come in and try to make a bad situation right or safe or whatever, and we got people who just, how I didn't do anything. And maybe you're not seeing it the way I am in the society aspect, but definitely in sports and in baseball. And I'm going to show you the clip right now because this hitter takes it and the ego to number one, turn and tell the umpire what he said. But then number 2, to be like, you threw me out for that? You discipline me for that? I'm allowed to say what I want. Truly think about this stuff, guys. Think about stuff. And then I want you to also, as far as umpires go, anytime, this is a clear example of anytime you see a quick ejection and the broadcaster, whoever goes, man, that was a quick ejection. That was a quick hook, man. You got to have you got to give him more, a little more rope than that, or more, whatever the phrase is. This is a clear example as to, if you don't know what was said, it was probably something really bad. So two things there with this whole thing is saying what you said, the ego to be able to say that, a complete disrespect, complete, just like, you think that, you have the courage, that's not courage, but like, you have the confidence to say that, meaning you've probably gotten away with it during the season. That's a separate subject. I think regions of the different regions allow different things. And I will tell you this, West Coast umpiring does not tolerate a lot of the bad behavior that goes on around the country. That's all I'll say about that. So, but then the audacity, the reaction to be, I mean, where are we at in a society that you think you can say that? And then number two, that you're like shocked and like offended and appalled that someone called you out on it. What are we doing? I mean, I don't know what the guy's parents said to him or whatever, or what they even thought. But I mean, I don't have children, but if I had a kid and he acted that way, I would be so embarrassed. I know my dad made things very clear to my brother and I about how we behaved, as kids, like, be respectful, but be respectful. Don't embarrass, me, your mom, our family. You don't do those things. So we've gotten so much into these days into competing. Oh, he's competing. He's passionate. That's another, listen closely with all these announcers. The time a guy gets ejected, oh man, that's just he's just very passionate individual there. Just, he's playing with passion. And this is me talking. I was a crazy guy. I did everything. I needed to come down a little bit at time, 20 years ago when I played sports. Like, it's good to play with enthusiasm and passion, but you got to harness that, because what happens is you saw what happened at University of Tennessee on Friday night. When you're always emotional, when everything is amped and you're always just be in the moment and react and be crazy. And when you're that way all the time, it could lead to a situation where you act inappropriately just because you're emotional. And that's not good for any sport. And that's something that baseball, I think, does a pretty good job of, is just the nature of it is the pitch is thrown. Okay. Then we wait. I mean, everyone reacts to the pitch, and that's why things happen over time. Like they do, is someone's mad. I mean, during a lot of pitches, most pitches. So I want to, knocking my microphone over here. I want to pull up the clip and show you guys and just comment. I had to explain it for our audio only listeners, but that's what it took for me. And the reason I bring it up is because Notre Dame did eventually eliminate Tennessee, beating them on Sunday in Game 3 with the big comeback. Ooh, Stanford grand slam. They were up 1 here in the 4th and just hit a grand slam. This Stanford offense, guys, them and Texas, those are two teams. If you walk out of the room, they might have put up a 6 or 7 spot before you get back in. So, I mean, they are instant offense. They have so much power. Stanford and Texas, if Stanford does in fact advance to the College World Series, which they're up 8-3 now in the 4th, we'll see. Those are teams you want to watch. They can hit the long ball and score runs in a hurry to all fields in this a complete lineup. So anyway, the Tennessee thing, no, they get eliminated. And I was just laughing going, you want to be the villain of college baseball? Well, guess what? You got the whole country rooting against you and not feeling bad at all that you lost. Because again, in college baseball, when you're ejected, head coach isn't this way, but a player or an assistant coach, anyone other than the head coach, when you're ejected, like high school, you miss a game. And if it's your second ejection on the season, which was the pitching coach, he gets 3 games. And because they're really trying to, limit how many ejections there are and everything. Ooh, kind of a little bat flip here from Stanford. I don't like popular things. This is the other thing. Things get popular. Remember Pogs? We got a lot of things that are popular now. Remember Pogs back when we were kids? Some of you were like, what are you talking about? Go look up Pogs. That was like a big craze. Everyone needed those and had those. And now we have all kinds of, we get in these patterns in society where this is cool now. Everyone needs to do it. It's like, I want to be the exact opposite of that. Although I am running a podcast and the entire world's doing it. So, everyone was rooting against Tennessee. I can rightfully say, and it kills me. I love their state. They got great senators, pretty strong, red voting base there. Great music in Nashville. I mean, I'm a big fan of Tennessee, but not their baseball team for their behavior this year. And it won't matter. They'll do the same thing. Tony Vitello is their head coach, and you know what? You're the skipper of the ship. You're driving the ship, man. It's all on you. What you permit is what you promote. Get a little control of your program. So I'm rambling here about the behavior of the University of Tennessee, but I got a lot of people commenting on Facebook and everything that were behind me and behind a lot of, they were like, these are people that don't even watch college baseball, but they saw the article I posted as an example of their behavior and then saw how they acted on Friday night. I was like a prophet, just like, oh, look, yeah, these are not good guys. Maybe they are good guys. Maybe they do great. But as far as how they play the game, not a fan. And there's other teams who are, kind of being jerks and things too. Let me take a breath and show you guys the clip on YouTube so that you guys benefit. Those watching on YouTube can benefit from having that option here. Stand by. All right, so here we go. Those watching on YouTube, we have a 8-2 game here at Notre Dame and Tennessee. So we'll see the pitch here. Now, again, the pitch, if you think it's low, that's not what we're doing here. But if you think it's low, okay, maybe it's low. The pitch is called. The hitter immediately turns. Plate umpire, pretty calm, I think. Just kind of notices that he's saying something to him. Didn't like the pitch. And while this is happening, by the way, the whole dugout over here on the Tennessee side is screaming. And fine, you're reacting to a pitch. Fine. You want to react and grunt and groan. That's one thing. So anyway, the hitter turns. Plate umpire goes, what'd you say? And now the dugout's like, what? Who got ejected? The umpire just ejected someone for no reason. look at pitching coach here. You think he's coming out? He's a man on a mission. Anyway, why would look and we'll get up to the hitter in a second. But basically in college, and it's good too. The ejecting umpire should pretty much walk away and be out of the rest of the fray here. Crew chief does a great job actually coming down here. You got two coaches coming after your umpire with a player who's already ejected. So anything could happen here. And there's absolutely zero reason for an assistant coach to be flying out of the dugout like this. Head coach can come out, get a explanation, of course, but a pitching coach is not going out to get an explanation. He's using rather foul language. So he goes, oh, and he knows it. And anyway, crew chief runs the assistant coach, and then I love my man here. And he's standing there the whole time. He's got his arms out. What did he do? Really, the language he just used comes screaming out at you guys. Come out of the dugout screaming. Sorry, I'm a little rattled here. I'll calm down. But this tells me that behavior like this is just like, it's acceptable. If you're surprised on deck hitter that your assistant coach just got ejected, and what that does also is, look, someone's got to go in that situation when there's 25 guys on a dugout that are losing their mind, and one ran out of the dugout. So that makes it easy. Sorry, he's got to go. And guess what those other guys do? They probably shut up, which they did. The first base umpire went over there and made sure that as well. But this is a crazy situation. The crew really handled, my opinion. So crew chief deals with the pitching coach, and now the head coach. See, plate umpire over here. I'm walking away. Look, everyone's out of control here. Everybody. Oh, that's really aggressive. Everyone seems very calm in the umpiring crew. Crew chief came down, had to get rid of someone, and now we go into discussion mode. And plate umpire just minding their own business over there. The hit. Look at the jaw drop of the hitter. This is just hilarious. He still got his mouth on the ground. Like, how could you eject me? So they later said in the game, or maybe in the next day, that the This particular hitter, I think he was his center field. He was warned earlier in the game about complaining about balls and strikes as well. So what did I tell you guys before? I've told you guys before on the pod that it's usually not one thing. It could be one thing, but generally it's something that has occurred over the course of a few innings. So he's, I don't know, maybe telling his coach here what he said. I'm not sure. Tennessee fans, very disgraceful, in my opinion, throwing beer bottles and other cans onto the field. Just absolutely ridiculous. And at this time, so you look at, there's no accountability here. The Tennessee coach, he's pointing over to the other dugout about how crazy those guys are acting. My plate guy here, he's nice and calm. Look at the faces of these guys. They're just like, why? What are you guys doing? Why are you guys policing us? That's not your, actually it is your job. So anyway, we'll keep going here, but the body language says it all. He didn't do anything. We're used to doing this. I'm not reading his lips or anything, but when we get a replay here, I hope the look on the hitter is, and I'll see if I can pull it up, if not, but I mean, very simple ejection as far as the plate umpire goes. So the crew chief gives him the reasoning. So here's the pitch, and this is where you can clearly see strike one. He turns. Effing terrible. Keeps going. It doesn't matter that he's walking away when he said that. You can't. What did I say? Oh, Mom, Dad. What did I didn't do anything. Like, what are we doing? Okay, you don't like look at the dugout reaction. They're going crazy. All right. What? Who? Sorry for the audio. Look at this is my favorite. This is the favorite reaction here. Is his face. If for those not watching on YouTube, the hitter's face, his mouth is wide open in shock over this ejection. Everyone, look at, you got guys looking around going, what is he ejecting him for? Like the umpire just made it up or something. And you know it was right just based off of the reaction you get from everybody else come flying out of the dugout, screaming, looking for answers. Yeah, Tony there, but Mr. Vitella, effing terrible. Okay, calm down. Too late for that. Anyway, I'll move on. But this is what happened Friday night. A situation that was boiling over, and I thought the umpiring crew was outstanding here. You may disagree, but in my opinion, you know what? There was one team of the three in this particular situation, anyway, that was out of control, and it was absolutely not the guys in the on the umpiring crew. So well done to the NCAA super regional crew there. Could not be more happy for them. And I'm not just here to bash Tennessee, although I am doing that here in my intro. Sometimes I have a point to make and it doesn't always get out the way I want it to. And so I thought by showing you guys and explaining to you guys who are listening about just like, this is a clear example as to how things escalate, how things get out of control when you just allow certain behavior to continue to grow. And if you don't think it's relative to where we're at in the world today, I mean, just think of some of the issues we're seeing in the country today. You know, we let things snowball. You know, oh, that's not a big deal. Oh, he just flipped his bat. Big deal. Oh, let's just and then all of a sudden we got chaos in the streets, right? Because crime is now legal. So it's just an example. Tennessee Volunteers, you guys have yourself a very nice summer. You will not be going to the College World Series. Maybe, hey, I believe anybody can change, guys. I really, really do. But it was not shocking to me to see what happened on Friday and to see them lose after kind of sticking it to everyone else all season. Not surprising. So if you're someone that wants to get behind that type of behavior, then I don't know, maybe look yourself in the mirror. Because in my opinion, I saw this coming, and it's nice when justice prevails, we'll say. As for flipping bats, you know, with all we have this pandemic of instant replays. I mean, we got to replay everything. Replay was supposed to be for the egregious error, right? That's always what I thought. But we replay everything now. Oh, he got his fingernail under the shoelace. It's just like, you know what I want to see happen? This is this for you guys that are like, well, yeah, let the kids celebrate and overdo it and everything. What if the umpires, because most of the calls I think are confirmed or the call stands. I think it would be awesome if the umpires, when they go to replay and their call gets confirmed, they should do little celebrations with their headset. They should flip their headsets and stare down the dugout of the team that challenged it. I think that would be cool, right? Come on. That would make the game hip and neat and cool. Well, Matt, they're umpires. They're not players. Well, what's the difference? It shows you how out of touch your reasoning. If you don't have an explanation or you can't put it in another another format, yeah, umpires, that'd be awesome. Just maybe a strike 3 to end the inning. Take your mask off and just flip it. Why not? Come on, stare down the dugout. That's cool, right? We're not supposed. You guys aren't being emotional and sensitive, are you? That would be inappropriate, and it's inappropriate when teams do it. All right, that's enough. I will move on from that. But I had to open the show with that today because I'm still watching a lot of college baseball, and that incident from Friday night really had me going. So I will try to calm down, as I have kind of expressed here on the show, and move on to some other subjects. Well, the last few things I'll say about college baseball is it was quite a weekend. Saturday, I got to watch most of the 8 games with my good friend, Todd Carson. He came over and we just got to chill and talk baseball, which is a lot of fun to do. I'm a dude that I could sit and watch something by myself a long time, but it's fun to have someone else around to chat with. And we did just that. So congrats so far. Again, I'm watching Stanford and then Oregon State later tonight. But one half of the College World Series is set. Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma will be on one side of the bracket. Their games start on Friday. So for those of you who don't know, the College World Series, again, it starts this weekend. It's 2 games every day, basically, for the most part, and until teams start to be eliminated. But it's 2 4-team brackets, much like you saw in the regionals. You will see the similar format. Those 4 teams play each other until everyone has 2 losses, except for the one, pool champ, I guess, and they advance and they play the other pool champion in a 2 out of 3 championship series. So a similar format just repeats, but it is those 8 teams with the dream to win a national championship, who will be in Omaha, Nebraska this week. For us on the West Coast, most of the games are 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. So kind of odd times, but it's actually nice getting off work and not having to stay up super late to watch a game, one that starts at 4:00. So one bracket will play Friday. The other bracket will start on Saturday, and they will just rotate days accordingly until, again, teams are eliminated. The other half of the bracket is yet to be determined, at least as I am recording this, but Ole Miss and Arkansas were the other 2 teams in the that other bracket. So a lot of SEC teams. Notre Dame gets in for the first time in a while. Hopefully we'll see 2 Pac-12 teams, but if not, we'll see another SEC team, and Connecticut, who's out of the Big East, or they're losing 9-3 now to Stanford in the 5th. But anyway, crazy stuff. The College World Series, it's fantastic. 2 games a day, like I said. Be sure to tune in if you can, because it's pretty exciting and it's cool to see. The little thing I want to say too, just piggybacking my opening comments, I'm not against playing with emotion and all the things that in college baseball that are pretty cool is, a lot of the stuff in the dugout is pretty neat. The guy 20-year-olds being 20-year-olds. But I guess my long-winded opinion of all of this is just that, if you want to be treated like men, you gotta play the game like men at times. And that's not to say you can't have some fun and maybe have a little dugout rally thing you do with your hats or something. I don't know, but I just think it's gotten carried away and it spilled over on Friday night, and you're going to have ejections in baseball. That's just the nature of the game. But I'm not trying to be grumpy old man here. I'm trying to respect the players and umpires and coaches and all the people who came before me, to kind of honor the way the game has been played. And it's not to say we can't have excitement, but there should be plenty of excitement in Omaha, Nebraska, starting this Friday. Again, 11-4 for us here on the West Coast. And I wanted to mention just briefly about the College World Series, some of the history, I have some other serious comments on topics I want to get to here, but just real quick, for those that maybe don't know much about the College World Series, I want to list to you the teams that have multiple championships in the College World Series. USC is the big leader with 12 previous College World Series championships. They've only lost twice as far as finishing as a runner-up, but USC used to be a powerhouse, man. They were the Alabama of baseball for quite some time, similar to USC's football tradition. Their baseball tradition was second to none. The next closest team that has as many championships as USC is Texas with 6. Texas and LSU both have 6. So half as many as USC. And one thing I cannot wrap my head around is why the USC baseball program has fallen so much, surpassed 22 years. Their last title was in 1998. Why USC has not been able to be an LSU, a Texas, a Miami, an Arizona State, a Vanderbilt. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's very competitive out here. A lot of schools close together. Maybe that's a reason. But why USC has struggled all these years and has not been anywhere near what they were at one time is just baffling to me. So anyway, USC has 12, the most all time. LSU and Texas with 6. Arizona State does have 5 national championships, but has not won one since 1981. So been quite some time since the Sun Devils raised the trophy there in Omaha. University of Arizona, their in-state rivals, they have 4 titles. Their last one, though, was in 2012, so pretty recent. My alma mater, Cal State Fullerton, with 4 championships as well. Their last one was in 2004, and their one before that was 95, arguably one of the best college baseball teams of all time. That era from 95 to 04, it was really special for Cal State Fullerton, but they've kind of fallen off the map. And I've kind of thought, well, maybe, my fear is that they turn into what USC is, just kind of not being relevant anymore. And it seems to be that way, but we'll see what happens. The other team with 4 titles is the University of Miami that most recently won in 2001. So those are kind of your blue bloods of college baseball, I guess, but there are a few others that have multiple titles. Minnesota has 3, but they haven't won since 1964. So they kind of won theirs in a few stages there. Oregon State has probably been the team of the 2000s, really, with 3 titles in, 12 years, 3 titles, 06, 07, and 2018 most recently. So the Beavers, who knows what happens tonight? Maybe they'll push for a 4th title. And then after that, we get into, I think there's like 7 teams who've won 2 titles over the years. And I'll just list Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Stanford, Oklahoma, Michigan, and Cal are the other teams that have won multiple national championships in the College World Series. So those are some of the teams that have been there historically and everything. Some of those teams like Michigan and Cal, they haven't won since the 60s or 50s, but they do have multiple national titles under their belt. So I thought I would mention their names. So we will see this weekend here. It's going to go this Friday until through the following Sunday. Sunday would be game 2 of the championship series, and Monday. So it could go Monday. What would that be? About 10 days, 10, 11 days, I think, maybe. Yeah, something like that. So it's a fun time, and I will definitely be watching and trying to see as much of it as I can. Okay, we have way more serious things to discuss here. Like, we got assassination attempts on Supreme Court justices that are just being ignored by the media. Someone's literally arrested for an attempt and admits to what they were going to do. And I thought we cared about gun violence. This guy had a gun and was going to go to kill a Supreme Court justice. Oh, you guys didn't hear about that? That was swept under the rug, like most of what the media does. That was weird. I don't care what Supreme Court justices, they're judges. They're not a political party or anything. But I want us to imagine had it been a different Supreme Court justice than one of the most notorious ones here from the past couple years from the Kavanaugh hearings. Imagine if it was someone maybe on the other side of the aisle. Wouldn't there be an outrage, especially with this whole gun violence? Gun violence is it's bad, it's evil, it's awful. Which, I agree. Gun violence is a terrible thing. All violence is. But a guy is, and you're not supposed to. Again, I'm not taking a political stand here. I'm like going with like the law, the rules and regulations. Like, you're not supposed to protest in front of people's houses, especially Supreme Court justices' houses. Like, that's not legal. Don't ask me. Look it up. Not supposed to be able to do that stuff. But no, it's okay when certain people do it. Certain groups do it. And then we have a potential assassination attempt that is, did you see any of it covered on Sunday? Why? Isn't that, let's say you want, I don't want any political assassination in our country. None, zero. But imagine, it's almost like some of these news media outlets, like they're wishing for things like this to happen. But even if you were wishing for it to happen, wouldn't you like make note of it? Maybe it's nonsense. Maybe it wasn't a real threat in your eyes. You don't think it's like newsworthy to mention at least? Like, ask yourself, why have they not said anything about it? And maybe there have been news outlets who've spoken about it, but Sunday night on all the news channels, ABC, see it. I mean, their most popular night for news? It was pretty relevant, I thought. No, not a big deal. January 6th, that's a big deal. Yes, back when gas prices were cheap. Yeah, I know that big riot, the one big riot. That's all that matters. Not the hundreds of riots. I will just to go back in time and confirm once again, I have denounced the January 6th insurrection. No, it's not an insurrection. First unarmed insurrection in the history of the world. But I have denounced the January 6th riot. I did it the day of, the next day, recorded a podcast even denouncing it. I don't know anyone who said it was a good thing. Personally, I don't. I listen to a lot of people, a lot of conservative outlets, you know where the left stands on all of it. I don't know anyone that was like, yeah, that was great. No, the riot was immediately denounced. I'm only saying this because they're making a huge deal about it all now. And since they don't want to cover assassination attempts, I thought, well, we got to talk about what they want us to talk about. So, yes, I denounced it when it happened. I still denounce it, but what was hilarious, same people that want to stir the pot up and make, oh, this is a threat to our democracy. We were scared. We were going to die. It was never said a word about all the riots from this. This is the hypocrisy. The double standards is so ridiculous. The rioters from the summer of riots that occurred in 2020 that were bailed out by celebrities and our the political left, the Democrat, bailed out, not for protesting, for rioting. Those riots, those don't matter. No. We need to worry about the scary one, the really scary one. That one was really bad. Really, really bad. There have been lies about people dying at the Capitol. There would be, outright lies about police officers being killed. No, the guy died days later or whatever, or weeks later from a heart attack or something. No, he was beaten to death. No, that was a lie also. How many lies do you have to be told? This is my thing. How many lies do you have to be told before you're like, maybe they're lying all the time or a lot of the time? If someone lies once, twice, okay, whatever. But when you're getting lies told you all the time, and there's never apologies for lies. This is another thing. If I said something not truthful, it would really eat at me. And I would really, I do know people that value truth, not your truth, their truth, my truth, the truth. And if they say something incorrect, they misspeak, or they said something before they got all the information or whatever, they go back, they apologize, they try to clear the air. But how come when some people lie, they move on to the next lie? They rope in who they need and then they move on. They stir up the masses, and then, all right, next crisis, next thing we have to do. What am I going to do? I got the baseball stuff at the end. I posted a video about a great pitch sequence in a game with the Yankees. John Boy Media. He does great videos, and he broke it down. The Yankees picked up that a pitcher for who was it? Was it Detroit? I guess it doesn't matter. That he was tipping his pitches. Basically, when he'd come set, he'd stare at third base for a minute before delivering to the plate when it was a fastball, and he didn't do that on breaking ball stuff. So it was a great video. Go check it out on my personal Facebook page about that sequence. And it got me thinking about life. Like how often do we do things that we don't know we're doing, but we're like telling, that's when like when we're tipping, like to piggyback off the lying thing, I don't play poker. I've never understood it. I don't know the rules. I don't know how. Some people are really passionate about poker. It's definitely not my thing, losing money in the first place, but just, I don't understand. I'm not smart enough to comprehend a lot of games and things. I stick to my sports, but the poker face. Some people don't have poker faces in baseball, and you can, I guess, part of poker is like bluffing, a fancy word for lying, or fibbing or whatever, but that's part of the game, we'll say. And so the best poker players, you can tell their poker face. They don't get too high, too low. You can't tell if they're telling the truth or lying. There's people in politics who've mastered that, tying it all in here. And some poker players, they can tell when someone's lying, and when they're bluffing, they don't have what they have. And so they then counter bet. I don't know anything about poker. Literally, I know there's a Texas game, Texas Hold'em. I'm not even going to try. I like the movie Maverick. That was a pretty good movie regarding poker with Mel Gibson. Pretty funny movie. But people bluffing and not having a poker face. And so tying it all together here, I think that video about pitching, it was funny. It was something, this is a guy making millions of dollars who just made a mistake and not doing something the same every time, or establishing a pattern that he wasn't aware of. And it got me thinking, man, like, how many times do we do that in our lives? I got a text from a listener who was like, man, that video was great. He goes, it's really made me wonder how many times, I maybe tip, my wife picks up on my body language or something. I said, yeah, that's a great point. Women are way smarter than us. So they could probably pick up on our little tendencies. And that's the great part of baseball is seeing things like that. When people are like, oh, this is such a boring game. It's like, there's so much more into the game of baseball than meets the eye. If it's boring, then you're not really paying attention, kind of a thing. But anyway, politicians, poker players, the baseball, tipping your hand, tipping your pitches. I think there's a tied in analogy there somewhere. Maybe I butchered it, but maybe you guys understand where I'm coming from. So anyway, back to the gun violence thing, since it's like selectively reported, we'll say. Like 10 more people were killed by gun violence in Chicago over the weekend, but irrelevant, doesn't matter, I guess. Doesn't fit an agenda, a narrative. Some of the most restrictive gun laws ever in the city of Chicago, but people die every weekend. It's just not a big deal. Lori Lightfoot, who literally said, we need to rise. What was her? She was quoted as saying, with some of the Supreme Court stuff going on, we need to take up arms. Now, you can say you didn't mean that. We didn't mean that literally, but can you imagine? Can you imagine had a Republican mayor said that? It would be all over every news channel. We need to take up arms against these people. And then when she was confronted about it, hey, can you apologize for saying call up arms? And she didn't apologize. She doubled down. She's like, we will not be pushed around. So again, it's hilarious to me, these double standards that go around. Got the mayor of Chicago talking about calling up arms against the politicians and Supreme Court justices and things. Well, maybe you should tell people to calm down the arms in the city, because if you just say something, also that's supposed to solve everything. And I went off. I didn't really go off on Facebook. I'm very sarcastic on Facebook. I think that's probably my best language, rather than just, start screaming and yelling. I try to use the language of the left and kind of just throw that back at them. But I was really ticked off again with the NBA, as I often am. Steve Kerr, head coach Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors, or the Green State, as I'd like to call them, the Green State Social Justice Warriors. That should be their new name. He, was leader of his team, and he, and I guess that other the green team from Boston, I don't even like saying their name. They before one of the games of the NBA Finals last week, they wore special T-shirts, magical T-shirts, mind you. And you know what those magical T-shirts said? End gun violence. Why didn't we think of this sooner? What? That's all we had to do. End gun violence, end bad things. Whoa. That, man. Thank you, Steve Kerr. Thank you so much. You know what? When you said we need to do something at the podium, screaming and yelling, again, the horrific murders in Uvalde. When you said that, you did mean we need to do something, like literally something, because I don't have a real idea of what to do. But if I wear a magical T-shirt that says "End gun violence," that will solve every. Okay, I don't know why we didn't think of this sooner. Seriously. And if these shirts work, these magical shirts, I don't know where you got them, what brand they are. We probably got them from China, if we're honest. What other, can we use these for gas prices? Can we get shirts made that say "end high gas prices"? Can we do that? I mean, that's something I think everybody can get behind, much like end gun violence. Yeah, sure. End bad things. Let's just end bad things. If we wear it on a shirt, that'll fix everything. If these shirts, I bet these shirts work about as good as masks do with the past few months. Some of you guys are probably turning me off. You're saying, you know what, enough of this guy. Go ahead. It's all good. I still love you. I got on this thing to vent and rant and just let off steam, because otherwise I'm going to blow a gasket myself, just living my daily life. So end gun violence, not end violence, which we got to be specific. End gun violence. So what about, knife violence? That doesn't, we don't want to end that. We don't want to end car violence. We don't. Why only gun violence? What about the gun violence outside the Milwaukee, who's their team? The Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks arena during the NBA playoffs. Was there any mention or big demonstrations of that happening? Multiple gunshots outside the Milwaukee arena? No. Why? How come? How come no mention of the gun violence in Chicago? What are we doing? We're politicizing everything. And I'm serious. I want to get shirts made. End bad things. Or definitely end high gas prices. And for those guys to wear those shirts, walk out there, armed security, right? Standing right there, gonna get their armed escort out of the building and probably have private security at their homes. End gun violence. We need to tell the senators and the politicians that we got to do something. We need to take guns out of the hands of our citizens. If we make these laws, criminals will listen. This time, they will finally do it. Really. End gun violence. We got to see where these shirts are made. I'm telling you. That's all we had. Problem solved. Problem solved. I mean, there won't be more murders. There were in Chicago this last week, so maybe they weren't specific enough with their shirts. End gun violence. It's amazing. It's truly amazing what you're only allowed certain opinions in the sports in the sports world. If you had a shirt that said "End fatherless," end fatherlessness, do you think that would get high praise? What's another one we could put up there? End social media addiction. That'd probably be a good one. How about end fatherlessness is a good one, because that's something that's really hurting the country, I think, and pushing a lot of young men to do very bad things. Young men need fathers. I would not be anything without my dad. And this weekend is Father's Day, and I'm very grateful to have such a wonderful man that I could strive to be like. And the best thing my dad ever did for me was the tough love early on. It's always been tough love. It's always been, more pressure, maybe more pushing me, more expecting more from me. And I can't thank him enough for that. Because there's too many guys who don't have that. And a lot of guys get it from coaches maybe, or other family members and things. And that's wonderful. And it's a props to all the single moms out there, or the grandparents that got to raise kids. Cause it's truly, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine having to do that. And having my dad literally, kick me in the rear a few times when I was very young, really got me going. And I've in everything I've strived to do, I don't want to let him down, and that's how I kind of live my life. And I know I have let him down at times, but hopefully less than I have not. And so, yeah. And fatherlessness, that would be one, that would be a pretty big one. If we just put that out there. I mean, if we're going to do magical shirts, let's use the magic. Let's keep it going. Let's not just have, only certain problems. If these magical shirts work, I want to put them to use in all seriousness. And gas prices and high taxes. That'd be cool. Yeah, all these things. I mean, that was the end racism, right? And all the end things that I think we all agree on. I would think, I would hope. I don't think anybody, wants gun violence. Nobody wants racism. Do we? It's like when people say, "Oh, this is a racist country." It's like, racist? What? All the people that choose to come here, like, why would they come to a racist country? There's racists in it. There's also murderers in the country. This doesn't make us a murderous country. Like, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Maybe I mean, have I crossed paths with murderers before or racists before? I don't think so, but anyway, that's just me. It's okay. It's just an opinion. Don't yell at me. Some of you guys, don't yell at me, guys. If you want to, that's fine. It's your First Amendment right. We still have that for now. But that could all change. What else do I got to say here on this fine Monday evening? It might be time to slide away from the dramatic the dramatic dramatizations that I've been doing. There's a lot of other rules and things out there that I have to address at some point. This whole, I don't know, things get like made up overnight. Like, this is okay as a society, this is now inappropriate. And it's like, what? Like, words and things usually. And it's like, you can't say that anymore. It's like, what? Why not? I mean, I can't say that anymore. Well, we have decided it's 2022 and there's just certain things we cannot say, we cannot do. It's like, when did we decide this? And was there a vote? Was there like, this is what certain groups of people do. They take a subject. I'm going to try to think of one for next week. They take a subject and they just, by themselves, maybe overnight, maybe over time, and they're just like, this is not acceptable anymore. It's like, what? Since when? They make this declaration, and that's why it's the movement. It's always moving, never stops, guys. On to the next thing, on to the next crisis. By the way, I started a woke word dictionary. I started writing down words. If you have some, definitely throw them my way. I want to break them down. They're words that you hear all the time in news media or, commercials or whatever. There's always a cause, a crisis, let's see, a fear, it's not problematic. That's a good, oh, this is problematic. Oh, this is these people marginalized. Oh, this is hateful. This was deeply hurt. These are some of the few I wrote down just because it's laughable to think about when you hear it. You got to listen for what you're hearing, hear what you're listening. I guess listen to what you're hearing. I think that's probably the best way to determine it. Because what was that joke years ago? Man and a wife, husband and wife, whatever, talking about. She's like, "Are you here? You heard me, right? Yeah, I heard you." There's a difference between hearing someone and listening to them. Us men, we generally hear, we don't listen as well, and so we need to be told to listen better. Anyway, I'm backing off. I'm backing away. Quicker show. I didn't get the greatest sleep last night. I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I wanted to watch baseball in the afternoon. I was like, "Oh, I'll go to work or I'll start driving Uber, make a few bucks." And then, but it was just too early to get up and go do stuff. So I'm paying for it now. So I am a little tired, a little cranky, and thought, well, let's get on a podcast and record. So anyway, all right, to the bottom of the ninth we go. The bottom of the ninth, we have our baseball slang and baseball rule of the week. We're going to keep doing this even after the college season ends. We'll do it all summer. And I was looking ahead. I was like, there's always every month, there's like something to watch, different sporting events or whatever, different times, playoffs. July and August, man, that's going to be tough. I sure hope there's some good fights, boxing and UFC on, because that's a really dry spell until football season comes. For me, the June and the college baseball, college World Series, especially. Once July hits, we got the big Independence Day celebration. And then it's like, all right, well, get through the rest of summer, enjoy your vacations or whatever. So two things today in the bottom of the ninth: baseball slang term, and then baseball rule. This ruling came up in a college game this last week. And if you have questions on it, you can by all means ask me, because it shouldn't be that complicated, but it's probably the most controversial rule that comes up almost every week in baseball. But anyway, the terms I want to use, this is something I just came up with by watching a lot of baseball, watching a lot of the dugouts and stuff the past few weeks. And just the term babe or baby, right? I truly believe baseball is one of the only places where another man calls another man babe. Now, I'm not discriminating or anything. I'm not going there. But I'm saying, I don't know how women talk, but maybe women call each other babe or oh, hey, babe, whatever. We all call, our significant others that, from time to time. But on a baseball field, for whatever reason, amongst men, it's like a term of endearment, and it's never said outside of the baseball field. And a lot of times it's like it's combined with other things, instead of come on now, babe, it's hum now, babe, or atta baby, hear that one a lot. Atta baby, hum, babe. Like, it's one of the only babe. Like, think about it. You wouldn't do that like somewhere else with your buddies, would you? I don't know. You're out. What do friends do other than watch sports? I don't even know. I'm trying to think of an example. You're at the beach. You do I don't know, a nice wave surf or dive for a Frisbee or something, or atta babe. Yeah. I mean, maybe you do it, but it's just something about a baseball field. And you don't see that in basketball. You don't see it in football. Maybe you see, yeah, let's go, baby, or something like that. But baseball, you get a lot more babe, not just a baby. You get a lot of babe. And it's funny because, like, I mean, Baby Ruth, one of the most famous baseball players of all time, the famous candy bar that, was named after him, but not named after him. And I'll let you guys watch that in the history of food that built America. Great episode on that one. But yeah, baseball's like the baseball field is like the only place to call another guy babe. And again, not discriminating. I know there's other, especially in this, special month or whatever. I'm sure there's other times when it's used, but in my experience, I've only seen it referred to on a baseball field. I've said it many times. Atta babe. Huh, babe. Anyway, maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm out of things to talk about. I don't know. Probably am. But it hit me. I heard it in the dugouts. Man, it's like the only place is a baseball field where guys call another guy babe. And I know there, again, my experience. I don't want to get arrested or whatever happens these days. I'm just saying, it's just an observation, people. Settle down. All right. So next time you're watching a game, atta babe. Hey, I just did it, All right. The baseball rule of the week. We're going to talk about the runner's lane. Runner's lane interference. Another offensive interference. I talked about the difference between obstruction and offense. Oh man, that ball looks fair. Batted ball right on the line. Right at the third base umpire here to get out of the way. They're replaying it now. But anyway, the runner's lane. Not to be confused with your baseline. When you're in a rundown, what determines what your baseline is, that is a totally separate issue. This is runner's lane interference. If you notice on a baseball field, and a lot of people who mark the baseball fields forget to put this lane in, it's 3 feet wide. It's only on the first base side of the field. It's the 45-foot line. So it's halfway to first base. And the line exists for a reason. You don't have to run in that lane all the time, because most guys, when they hit a double, they'll round the base, right? There's no play being made on him. And that's what I'll get into baseline stuff later on. But the runner's lane, have you ever, you've probably seen it happen, and you're probably like, what? That's stupid. Why is that lane there? Well, the runner's lane is to prevent the batter from running to first base and interfering with a throw, or not with a throw, but interfering with the first baseman or whoever's covering first base, their ability to receive a thrown ball from their teammate. Obviously, a lot of people translate it as well. It's not interfere with throw. It's not the throw you're interfering with. It's you interfering with the throw being fielded by, again, the first baseman or whoever ends up covering first in this scenario. So you don't see it on ball hit to the shortstop, right? Because the first baseman's stretching this way. You don't see it on balls hit to the second baseman, third baseman, routine ground balls. You don't hardly ever see it there. This runner's lane is specifically where you see it come into play is kind of on slow hit balls that are out in front of home plate, maybe up the foul line a little bit, a drag bunt to the third base side, something fielded by the third baseman, the pitcher, the catcher, those little nubbers or whatever. And what happens is the batter runs to first base. He is required by rule to be in that runner's lane if the play ends up determining that there might be interference. Again, you can run to first base however you want, but as far as interfering with the thrown ball to first base, is the only base where this falls into play here. You are required to be running with both feet inside that lane, and you are considered in the lane if your foot is touching any part of the line. But if you're straddling the line, you are not considered in the lane. And what's controversial about this is that the runner's lane is in foul territory. So you have to be running in foul territory. If think of just the dirt path really going there, but there is a 3-foot line. You have to be inside that lane. The controversial part is you basically have to run in foul territory, and the entire base is in fair territory. So you eventually have to cross into fair territory. If you're running a straight line, right? You're a batter, shortest distance between 2 points, just get to the bag. And so you'll see a lot of guys running in fair territory with both feet clearly outside the runner's lane, running because it's a direct point to the base, right? You gotta be fair territory to get to the base. Well, it's just one of the ways the rule is written. You have to be in that lane. Now, if the last step or two, you are exiting the runner's lane and do interfere a little bit with the person at first base fielding the throw, then you're okay. You're off the hook. You are deemed to have been, if you were in the lane the whole way up the line and then you exited at the very end, basically the last step or the vicinity of the bag, then you're okay. You have fulfilled your requirement as a base runner, the batter runner in this situation. But if you're not in the runner's lane, you're going up the line, and then there is, you get in the way of the throw from the first baseman, throw to the first baseman or whatever, then all bets are off. You're kind of like you're protected while you're going up the line. But if you're not in the lane at all, and there's a judgment call here at the base, sorry, boom, pop. That's interference. Batter, you are out. There does not need to be contact. You don't need to get hit by the baseball in the back. You can just, again, in the umpire's judgment, if you interfered by being outside that runner's lane, not the last step, but going all the way up the lane, up to first base, if the umpire judges you being there interfered with the throw, with the ability to catch the throw, then you are out. And as is the case with most offensive interferences, the ball is dead and nobody advances. So say there were other runners and they would have easily gotten to third base or they would have scored. Doesn't matter. Interference is called. Everybody returns to the base they were at the time of pitch. So it's a controversial rule because it's a lot of people, they just see the throw go past the first baseman. They start celebrating and, we don't have whistles in baseball. So the plate umpire, it's a plate umpire's call, by the way. A good umpire will follow that runner up the line, maybe not get halfway there, but get about a third of the way up at least and be able to judge that runner going up. So anytime you've seen an umpire go up the line, following a runner, watching him, that's what he's doing. And also to help with maybe a pulled foot or something or a swipe tag. But when there's it gets harder to call when there's other runners, like a runner on second or runner on third. You can't go up the line. You got to protect the plate area. So you're watching from further away. But anyway, it's controversial. Everyone hates this rule. It's like, how are you supposed to run to first base if it's in fair territory and it's here? Hey, it's just it's one of the rules in the game that's been there a long time, and there's no real better way to write it, I guess. So there's that. On the flip side, if you are on the foul territory side of the foul line. So you got the runner's lane. So you're not in fair territory, but you're on the foul and then outside the runner's lane. Some guys do that sometimes when a strike three gets away and it's back and the catcher has to go get it and throw to first base. Some guys kind of cheat that way and they'll run extreme to the right and they'll interfere that way. Although that is a much less likely to happen or has happened as much. So that just hopefully paints a picture for you guys as to what runner's lane interference is. It's always controversial. Anytime it's called, someone's out of the dugout screaming. I've had batters get hit in the back of the head before, and it's just like, I'm sorry, you're out. I mean, you can't just as a fielder, you can't just throw the ball at the guy. I mean, you have to legitimately try to retire the runner. A lot of people get out of this with the call being made if it was a true throw or not. So sometimes the ball gets thrown into the dirt or the guy airmails it. Did the runner interfere in that case? Probably not. So, but it's not your ultimate trigger, I guess you'd say. Again, if the ball gets airmailed, then the first baseman didn't have an opportunity to catch the ball. If it's maybe a one hopper, maybe he had an opportunity to catch it. But in general, if throw isn't true, a generally good throw that the first baseman can't catch, then that's why that's taken into account. Oh, that wasn't a true throw. That wasn't a valued throw or whatever. But a lot of guys kind of forget that it's about the first baseman fielding it, not the guy trying to throw around the runner. It's just that's kind of where the interference comes into play. And hopefully that made some sense. I should have had a video for you, but I won't bore you anymore with my random baseball knowledge, the rules of the game, the slang of the game, the old man opinions of the game. I'm just here doing what I do, and I will let you guys go so I can get back to watching the end of the Stanford game and the Oregon State game. Got to get dinner ready here for Val. I mean, if I'm going to watch baseball games, I better have dinner on the table. You know what I mean? Right, fellas? You know what I'm saying? Happy Father's Day to everybody out there this weekend. Hopefully you guys are barbecuing, having a few cold beverages, enjoying time with the family. However you celebrate it, man, make it a good one. We need fathers and just desperately need them out there. And just to all the men out there who step up and do the right thing and accept responsibility, and not just that, but are true leaders of not just young boys, but also young girls out there. I mean, fathers and being that role model, that leader. It's not to say moms aren't, but we're celebrating fathers this weekend. So congrats to all the fathers out there. And thank you to all of you who are maybe fathers to kids that aren't yours also. I mean, that's not just, I'm not talking just like adoption and things, but just the coaches out there, the teachers, just people that take guys or girls under their wings and is that father figure. Hey, here's to you guys as well. So I can't thank my dad enough, Mr. Dave Hersema. We tolerate each other quite often. No, in all seriousness, he's the person I trust most in the world, and person that I go to when I'm down. I'm not feeling great. I need some confidence, or I need a kick in the head. Sometimes I need the ugly truth, and my dad does that for me quite well. So can't wait to throw some meat on the barbecue with him this weekend. Should be a lot of fun, and hopefully everyone else has a great time as well. Guys, enjoy the College World Series. What better way to celebrate Father's Day than maybe turn the college games on there on Sunday and watch a few ball games. Couldn't hurt. Should be a lot of fun. And I will be back next Tuesday after the weekend, of course. I'm not sure what we're doing this Friday. I have a 4th of July episode, a July 1st episode, technically, celebrating Independence Day, already recorded. But these next couple of weeks, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a guest or not. You'll just have to stay tuned on social media, as you guys do a great job of. Send me questions, topics, comments, whatever you want on our social media platforms, or just text me. Email me, gethomesafepodcast@yahoo.com, or send in a voice message. Look at the episode notes. You should see them there. Also, check out the Charge to Keep podcast. Only one episode out now. We'll have another one out in July. But if you're a fan of Real Hondo Prep football, you don't want to miss that. Guys, I'm out of time, out of ideas, out of everything. It's time to get dinner started and be able to watch the last couple baseball games here. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all you guys. Definitely couldn't do this without you. But guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base. Get home safe.